Good morning.
Good morning.
We got food sitting across from us, so if we start drooling this morning, then, well, that's the problem. But, what?
I was just looking, I thought there was somebody saying something already.
No. It's just saying that it's congratulating us for our 25th broadcast.
Wow.
Did it read our title, or is it just, no?
I don't know.
Man, Facebook's on top of it.
We had some company out of, I think it's either Las Vegas or California, that our blog was in like the top 10 or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah, I have not seen this yet.
No, I need to forward that to you.
Our blog or our vlog?
Well, they called it a blog. But they were
How about that?
referring to this, so.
Wow, that's kind of amazing. Huh. Well, anyway, it's fall, yay, which means that it's going to finally start getting a little bit cooler in South Texas, which is kind of nice. And we're also in October now, which means it's my favorite month.
Yeah, what? Your birthday and Halloween?
It's my birthday, it's Halloween, and it's got two of the best birthstones out there. We got Opal, which we've talked about in the past, and gotta love Opal. Just a cool stone, and it's very, very unique. There's nothing else like it. You've got other stones out there that can kind of imitate each other. Opal's not one of those, really. You've got maybe a couple that may have some iridescence, but it's not the same.
I know, like the amylite.
Yeah, but it's still more of an iridescence. It's not really a true play of color.
It might be a little tough there.
Anyway, the other one...
Just because it's your birthday.
The other one is Tourmaline, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And I have a little bit more of a closer connection with this just from school and getting the opportunity to go to a mine in Southern California for tourmaline, where some of the best specimens of tourmaline have come out of, especially pink.
Yeah.
They're really known for their pink tourmalines, and they've got some on display in a few different places around the country. What's really cool about that mine is it is open to the public at their mining office, so you can actually go kind of dig through the tailings and stuff and find your own crystals. And I'm going to show you some examples of that and some of the other stuff that's come out of that mine, which is really neat. But we're also going to show you some really nice cut stuff that we've got here with us and kind of tell you a little bit more about them. But what's the most unique thing about tourmaline?
Most unique thing?
Yeah. Or I guess what would you think is kind of the coolest thing about tourmaline?
I don't know. They come in all colors.
That's probably what I would go with too.
And some stones have
multiple colors.
Yeah, 3 or more colors.
Yep.
That party tourmaline. It's like you can put a party tourmaline on you and you'd be partying all the time.
Not really.
He was saying that he got that a little closer connection because he got to go to the Palamine.
Yeah.
Well, he's sitting in Carlsbad, California, which is just a little ways away.
Not right now.
Well, I mean, whenever he did this. Well, when he went to GIA, he's at Carlsbad, which is kind of like a palace compared to the GIA that I went to.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
The GIA I went to was in Santa Monica, and we had basically the same offer. And, I don't know if many people know about Southern California, but it pretty much is almost like a desert. I mean, it doesn't rain there very often. So the day we're supposed to go,
it rains.
It's rained out. So I didn't ever get to go to the Palamine, but yeah, that's one of the more famous tourmaline mines in the world. I mean, they're just incredible specimens and gems that have come out of that Palamine. And
yeah, it's just and it's really cool to go in there. I think probably the coolest feature of that mine
is before you get there.
No, that's probably the most dangerous. It's to get up to the mine. I'm not going to tell you exactly where it's at, but I will tell you it's pretty heavily guarded voluntarily because there's a shooting range for sharpshooters for the CIA and the FBI. So if you don't know how to get a hold of them and have the clearance to get up there, you're going to get shot.
You can be a target.
Yeah, because literally there is a target in, well, it's like 3 feet below the parking lot, or the parking lot. It's like a little dirt landing area, I guess you could say, of the mine. And so, yeah, they see somebody up there sneaking around. There's a good chance you're going to become a target. And
so that'd be one of those where you see them, you swing out. So if you make a quick turn, you could get shot or something.
Yeah.
But it looks like I'd want those ones that it's been at it a while, and then you don't look like you're dangerous because they're not supposed to shoot the ones that don't have a gun. That's not the same target thing.
No, I don't think so. I think this is pretty much one of those deals. If you're there and you're not supposed to be there, you're pretty much a target, whether you're armed or not. Anyway, yeah, really cool thing to visit. But what I thought was probably the coolest thing about the mine was it's in the top of a mountain, but it has basically a natural spring in the top of this mountain. And originally, it was a lithium mine. And they were using lithium at the time to treat patients with mental disorders and stuff like that. And so this water that is in the mine, up in the top of this mine, is pretty much laced and saturated with lithium. Which I know it's going to sound bad, but the water's really, really good. They even told us ahead of time before we even left the school that, if you want to bring a canteen or something and fill it up, then this stuff makes, and this is coming from one of our professors, he goes, it makes really good iced tea. And then he kind of winked, and it's like, what do you mean by that?
You don't even have to have tea in it.
He goes, it's really calming, really soothing. I'm like, well, yeah, I'll bet it really is. And what was crazy was out of this whole group of people that went, all these classmates of mine, I was the only one that brought anything to get some of this water with.
Oh, I thought other ones did.
No, I was the only one. So what made it even cooler about that was I got to spend some one-on-one time with the mine owner, which his name is Blue Shepherd. He owns a lot of mines in New Mexico and Arizona that are a little bit more active because they're mining some more commercially viable stuff, some turquoise and chrysocolla and stuff like that. But, we were sitting there talking, and he was telling me about how they've mined some of this tourmaline, and that where the active part of the mine is at is on the other side of this, basically this enclosed lake in this cave, pretty much.
And you would think, being a mine owner, that he would pump that water out, but he's got a good reason for leaving it in there.
He does. It's a very good security barrier because you have to scuba dive.
He's got a waterfall door.
Yeah, you got to scuba dive through this water and know where you're going to get to the active part of the mine because it's got all these little tunnels and chutes and stuff like that that kind of go off, and they're all dead ends and they're pretty tight. So if you don't know where you're going, it's not going to end well. It'll be laced with something else.
I wonder if he could bottle that water.
He should, because it is really good stuff. But yeah, what was really crazy, it's definitely the cleanest water I've ever had, bar none.
Well, it had a bunch of lithium in it, so you can't say it's the cleanest you ever had.
Well, I don't know if the lithium does something to the water or something, but it was extremely clear. So much so that whenever I thought that I was getting ready to dip my canteen in what looked like about 2 inches of water, he goes, no, just push it down there. You're not going to reach the bottom. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. No, it was like 5 foot deep where that was at, but because of the way that water was messing with the light, it looked like it was only 2 inches. But there's like a really slow...
Maybe it already had some of the water.
Maybe so. I don't know. But it's got kind of a natural current in there too, but the water is so still on top that it actually had gypsum crystals forming on top of the water, and if you touch them, they just sink. But they actually floated
Gypsum.
on top of the
You
water.
sure it was gypsum?
That's what he told me. I didn't... there wasn't enough light for me to actually, sit there and identify
So
this.
you could drink and make sheetrock.
Yeah. Yeah. You just don't want to drink and put the sheetrock up.
Yeah.
You tend to have bad looking walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might take a little while on the sheetrock.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit more about Tourmaline itself in general. We just kind of wanted to touch on the mine experience a little bit because that was kind of cool. But with the Pala mine, I got some really good examples of basically black tourmaline, or what we call schorl, which is kind of an indicator for where they need to be mining to find the precious gems. And basically what they did before Blue Shepherd bought this mine, they were mining tourmaline, but they were kind of hit and miss on what they were finding. And he had this feeling, that there's got to be some really nice stuff in here. And they'd mined all over the place.
And this mine's been around for a long time.
Yeah, basically mid-1800s is when they started mining it for lithium. And if I remember right, that may be off a little bit.
Remember.
Anyway, it's been mined for a very long time. And so this whole time, they were doing lithium and a little bit of tourmaline, but never really found something to keep it going. So not any huge pockets of gem quality stuff. And so he buys this mine, and he goes in there and he sets down and he's, kind of studying this mine. He's just got a flashlight and a lawn chair, just sitting in there, and he notices these little seams of black stones. And it's schorl, which is black tourmaline. And they're following in these little lines that almost look like it was like a zebra on the walls of this mine. And they dug everywhere but along these seams. And so he starts following these, and lo and behold, right like at the entrance of the mine, where they had left it as a wall, there's this huge pocket of pink tourmalines. And he just kept doing this over and over again and kept finding these huge pockets of just like museum quality stones that they had been walking past for decades and had no idea. And what that stuff looked like was this. So this is schorl, and you can actually see it from the end. This is kind of the habit or the crystal structure of tourmaline, which forms in kind of a triangle, and actually it's maybe a little bit more pronounced right there. But you can see it's got these nice little striations here, and this hasn't been polished. This is actually just natural. This is coming straight out of the mine. So this actually is from the Pala mine.
This is coming straight out of the tailings.
No, this one came straight out of the mine.
Did it?
Yeah, he told me that we weren't supposed to take anything out of the mine without checking with him first, and he said, sure, go ahead, grab it, because that's a great specimen. And he said, we haven't had a lot of people pick that stuff up. Normally they're going for that gem quality stuff that they find, which is like little bitty crystals. And he was actually kind of surprised that this was just laying there and it hadn't gone through the tailings yet, because most of this stuff kind of gets crushed up. And he said, yeah, go ahead and grab it, because that's a great piece you're going to want to hold on to. And so obviously we have. But some of the other pieces here, which was kind of cool walking up to it, a lot of the ground up there was purple and pink. And it was kind of this, it didn't look as purple on there, and maybe it's kind of our background, but it's kind of a lilac color, but pretty much everywhere you walked it was that color.
Now,
and then you've got, this is actually what we call massive tourmaline. It's not gem quality or anything. So these are actually pink tourmaline crystals, but they're heavily included. There's a lot of them together. Yeah, really fractured and stuff. So whenever we do find the good stuff, and I'm going to show you just the few little pieces that I found that was basically gem quality, but it's just not big enough to cut. You get pinks, they're like this, and then tourmaline does come in all colors, and you can get pretty much every color in one mine too. You've got some greens here, and these are just rough crystals. These are actually just straight out of the Pala mine.
Now on that, and I should have bugged up on this a little bit, I guess. The black, would that have been a higher temperature crystallization, and that's why he was following it? where the pink would be towards the end of the crystallization, or
basically my understanding of the formation is these are forming these are forming in pegmatites, which are kind of basically a lens shaped metamorphic form, or not metamorphic, igneous formation, and basically it's trapping this liquid that is a solution that's got this in here, and it's forming similar to what the geodes and stuff.
And again, I may have to do a little check-in. Does all of the tourmaline have lithium in it, or is it just pink?
I'm not entirely sure of. I think in this case it just happened to be in that lithium environment.
Mm-hmm. It just happened to crystallize in.
Yeah, and
so it's not necessarily lithium in the tourmaline.
Right, with the greens and the blues like that, they're going to be colored with a lot of it's going to be chrome.
Mm.
And so with those, you're going to start getting some of these other colors, and we'll show you. These are actually faceted gems. One of these I actually posted on our Facebook page ahead of time, but let's see here. Yeah, we don't have any tweezers there. I'm just going to grab this one. So you get some really, really nice greens. This one's a really pretty stone. But like I said, they come in all colors. Some of them come in multiple colors. Yeah, we have what's called party tourmaline. But I'm going to show you another example of that schorl, and this is actually schorl in quartz, which we call tourmalated quartz.
We would call it schorl quartz.
I know, right?
Say anyways.
But this is tourmalated quartz. So we actually got rock crystal quartz with little bitty tourmaline crystals going through it. And believe it or not, this is actually those seams where he was finding that stuff in the mine actually looked very similar to this, just on a much larger scale. And so it was pretty easy to tell, once he figured out what to do, it was pretty easy to tell where he needed to go and mine this stuff. But there's been some really, really nice pieces come out of there. So I feel like I'm talking a lot.
You are talking a lot. Another thing that's kind of weird is there's another famous tourmaline deposit in the United States, and it's in Maine. So you're almost like diagonally clear across the United States. You got Maine tourmaline, and then you got Southern California, the palette.
Yeah.
I had a chance to buy a bunch of Maine tourmaline that had been mined way early, but it was just too expensive to.
There's some of that purple. This stuff is really high in lithium, and it's kind of glittery and everything, but it's got a lot of the pink in there. And they did have some green tourmaline in that mine. It's kind of hard to see, but this is kind of the same thing. It's that massive.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a green
tourmaline, kind of an army green, not real attractive. Yeah. So, but yeah, tourmalines, they come in every color. Probably the most famous color is going to be the Paraíba tourmalines. Probably the most expensive color.
I don't know about the most famous, but yeah,
definitely the most expensive. Most of that, and some will argue that basically the Paraíba tourmaline can only come from the Paraíba state of Brazil. And
it's kind of like black opal in Australia.
It is. The Australians believe that if it doesn't come from Australia, then it's not black opal. It's like champagne. If it doesn't come from Champagne, France, it's sparkling wine. But so really, it's the same stuff.
Like in Madagascar, they got the sparkling tourmaline. Isn't that where they're getting the other Paraíba-like tourmaline?
Well, yeah, there's a couple other places too. I don't remember offhand, but I mean, there's other places in Brazil that aren't in Paraíba that they're actually finding some of that stuff too.
Yeah, but I don't know that I've seen it as quite the neon color.
No, because it's basically a neon color. Let me find you a picture of it here. That is just crazy. So it's like a bright electric blue, and that's not even actually doing it justice there. Here we go. There's some Paraibas.
We were at the Las Vegas jewelry show, what's that been, 4, 5, 6 years ago? And there's a guy that always has unusual gemstones. And he actually had a blue tourmaline that there's only one of.
Mm.
And that was expensive. It wasn't really big. I was thinking it's like maybe, well, I think it's less than 4 carats. But it had been written up in Gems and Gemology, and I'm not sure even where he found that, where that was found at. But
I don't know.
the
It's incredible
Paraiba,
stone.
as far as I know, I don't think there's any production, hasn't been any production for, what, 10 or 12 years or longer? Because I think all that's being sold now is stuff that's been probably sold once or twice or more before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Well, we've got kind of an artist rendering what some of those pockets look like whenever they do find some large pockets of the tourmaline. So
that would be a nice one.
Yeah. Yeah.
That crystal right there would be nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, you run across something like that, and it's going to be steak dinner that night. But let's show you some more of the stones. So, we've talked a little bit about the pinks, but we haven't shown you anything. This one's really cool shield cut that we've got here.
A little brighter.
Yeah, a little bit brighter stone.
I don't know how it's coming out on the. It doesn't look that great on the screen.
No, it doesn't.
It's
But
a little more
that's-
vibrant. It's a
Yeah.
little more vibrant than what it looks like on the.
But we've kind of got the same issue we've had all along. Is they always look better in person than what they're going to on camera. You got pinks, you've got greens, you've got blues. You start getting into some of these that are a little bit more red, and then they get a whole new term. These are called rubelites, and so they're going to have more of a ruby red color to them. And a lot of people do mistake them for being ruby, and they're
Normally not quite as saturated as what ruby is.
no.
with
I've
the red.
seen a few that are. Usually they're
Like
smaller
really
stones.
nice, that look like really nice rubies.
Yeah, they do. And what's kind of cool with tourmaline is they have a very unique inclusion in them that we can use to separate them. If we can't do a refractive index on them, they have a very unique inclusion in them called a trichite. And
Is that kind of like a little bike?
no,
Oh.
no, it's not. They're
Is that 3 kites?
no. But it's kind of a flake-looking inclusion that is only in tourmalines, and almost every tourmaline has this inclusion in it.
Well, maybe the reds or the pinks,
You
because
gotta-
you can get into some of the other colors. Normally, the pinks and reds are not as clean as what the other colors are. So
Yeah, and it may be small, but in most tourmalines, they're going to have those little inclusions in them, which make it a little bit easier to identify. We've got one of these stones that's maybe closer to that Paraiba. It's just not saturated enough, so it's a really light kind of Caribbean Ocean blue color.
mint,
Yeah.
looking color.
But you get into some of these other ones that are a darker blue, and these are what we call indicolite. If I can get the little baggie open here.
Have to get a key. Well, you may need a. You may need
This one I might need tweezers for, but
bring it in.
yeah, these are going to be like a darker blue, and when he gets these tweezers, we'll be able to show it to you a little bit better. But really, really beautiful stones. Tourmalines, they have decent hardness to them, and they do work really, really well for jewelry. Obviously, since there's a lot of them out there in the jewelry industry, and that they come in every color, and they come in large crystals, so we can get some really cool shapes. Makes it very, very attractive for people that are wanting an unusual piece with bright, vibrant colors, and they kind of want to keep their costs down that you would normally have, higher costs in comparable stones. If you're doing green, maybe some emerald, stuff like that, there's going to be some crazy high prices, but you get some really cool, unusual pear shapes like this elongated pear. But the crystals kind of lend themselves to this. They're really long.
Kind of like we showed you that
like this with the schorl. This one actually goes all the way through and ends on this side over here, and actually continued into the other stone, or the other part of the stone. But you'll get a lot of elongated stones like this. You'll get some that are very, very long emerald cut shapes, which you call pencils, and those are really cool. They make really cool earrings and pendants.
They look like rods almost.
They do. But like this one, we've got this indicolite tourmaline here, and you can kind of see some of the blue flashes there.
It has so much blue that we're getting it up on the back of the wall. Our background is. No, that's not it.
No, that's not it.
Okay.
But it does work really well. We've got one set in. We've got a very large oval here set in this ring. This platinum
kind of a
diamond
mauve color.
Yeah.
A little bit of pink and
pink and a little bit of red, a little bit of purple. Yeah. But then you get into some of the more unusual ones, which are going to be the party colored, and some of them, to be a little bit more specific, if the party color, and party color by that we mean that it shows 3 or more colors.
Right.
Otherwise, you have bicolor tourmaline, which is going to show you 2 colors, and those can be in any combination. You can have, one half of the stone, or you can have it striped. We've had some kind of almost gray tourmalines that had pink stripes on them, which were pretty cool, and it's naturally occurring that way.
It's sometimes almost like in layers.
Yeah. It's kind of unusual, but then if you get them like this, where they're pink on the inside and green on the outside, this is what's called watermelon tourmaline. We've got one that's a little bit lighter here. That's kind of hard to see, but you've got
transparent.
Yeah, but you've got the pink on the inside, green on the outside, and she's bringing us some more indicolites here. But these are really cool, and I'll show you a picture of what these crystals look like before they're cut. So this is actually going to be watermelon tourmaline. What they'll do is they'll actually just slice this, and so it'll actually have a green layer on the outside and pink on the inside. And then this is some of the party color tourmalines. You can see some of these are striped. You can really see the growth structure in this one here, which is really cool. But I mean, these are just awesome stones, and this is all naturally occurring.
Yeah, I don't know that there's any treatment for tourmaline, is there? I don't think they heat it. I don't think they oil it.
No.
So when you say is naturally occurring, I don't think there's any.
There's no way that they can
change
it or force it to do that.
Yeah.
But really, really cool, unusual stones. Here's a really pretty indicolite.
This is actually a bicolor, but they cut it where it's a little difficult to see the bicolor. But you can kind of see
blue on the bottom
green,
and green on top.
Green and blue there.
Yeah, that is just awesome.
It's a little tough to tell. Man, it's a really pretty stone.
Yeah, very pretty.
It's almost like an opposed bar on the bottom. It's not really a.
And then this is actually a piece of watermelon tourmaline that we did for competition. That it was faceted, which is very unusual. A lot of times, just the pink tourmaline.
It's sometimes carved because we've done butterfly.
Yeah, the watermelon tourmaline is normally almost always cut in slabs, though.
Yeah.
And in little layers. But this one, we've got a little martini glass that we use the watermelon tourmaline in, so you can see the pink and the green there.
Yeah, see, they did.
But,
there's one they did. They did do the watermelon tourmaline, but we did. That's down here somewhere.
Yeah. But and here's one that's a bicolor, and you can actually see they've got stones that are showing the 2 different colors there. But Yeah, awesome
is that
stones.
for the idiots that can't see it in the one stone, so they got.
Yeah, they they got to show you what it's going to look like both ways. But this kind of shows you, some of the range of tourmaline. It literally comes in every color, and
Colorless.
it comes in
And
colorless,
black.
comes black, and it can show you every color in one stone, which is kind of unusual. I don't know of another stone that will do that off the top of my head. Well, maybe.
I'm going to say spinel, but maybe not the.
Well, I meant
But,
like
the
where
black color?
where it's showing
Or the
party color. Maybe the
multicolor.
only other one would be fluorite.
Yeah.
Can show you that.
Yeah.
But much softer stone, and definitely not real feasible for jewelry. Oh, we're pulling out more of them here. Let's see what we got. Oh, here's our little striped ones. So these are kind of a gray.
Ooh, gray, kind of a tan.
Yeah, and this may be difficult to see, but
Well,
actually
hand.
it's showing up a little bit better. You can
Maybe
actually
it's got
see
a
the pink.
white behind.
Grab that little piece of paper there. You can actually see the pink stripes in here, which is pretty cool.
Oops.
Yeah.
Now,
Now how am I going to do this? Where's our
Yeah.
tweezers at here? All right.
This is
We're gonna.
this is a nice, almost clean piece of white paper.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't help a whole lot.
Well, let me turn it around. Let's see if we can get some light to transmit through here. But, well, it's actually better when I was holding it with my hand. You can actually see the little.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Let's reflect some more light with the paper. There we go. So you can actually see some of the pink stripes in these, which is pretty cool. What's even better yet, though, is we got 3 pieces that match.
So you could do.
So we got pendant and earrings. Yeah. But real unusual. You're not going to find this in any other stone. Yeah, we've got the whole set right here. Oop. I'm just going to drop them all here.
Yeah, I see you're doing.
So we've got a matching one to the smaller version here, but
Well, that works pretty good with it. Leave it on that background.
yeah. So yeah, but he's picking up one of the larger indicolite tourmalines, so this is going to be that deep blue. And these are just really pretty
We
stones.
just need to be in a little more transmitted light instead of this fluorescent
Where's your
stuff.
phone at? We'll use a little flashlight off of it here. We can kind of transmit some light. Come on. There we go. So, we'll show you our...
No, that don't work.
Yeah, that's maybe a little bit better.
There we go. You can kind of see a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, let me turn it over the right direction here. There we go. Now try shining it through the back. There you can kind of see some of that blue, green. It's still tough to see in this light, but the cuts on these are like a millennial cut. So these are actually concave facets that are on the back of these, which makes them really, really cool. Kind of brightens up the stone because they are kind of dark, but it's just all around. It's a cool stone. Like I said, it is October's birthstone. One of October's birthstones. You can get it in about every color that you can think of. You can get it in multiple colors.
Now, I don't know why they didn't share with some of October's birthstones with somebody else, like August. You know, why you guys get tourmaline
And opal. Woo!
No, tourmaline, but August should have maybe got opal.
No.
Okay, well, I think August ended up getting,
Spinel.
yeah,
Yeah.
which that's actually, we've already talked about that.
Yeah, we
That's-
talked about that.
That's really cool stuff.
Now, the other thing is, we always cover synthetics and naturals and stuff like that. Up until about, it's maybe been about 10, 15 years ago, there was no way of making a synthetic tourmaline. Then the Russians, while they were trying to make something else, just happened to make 12 synthetic tourmalines. 12.
So it was for each month, or
I don't know what I think it just, I don't know.
were they all black?
No, I don't know what color they were. We just knew. We just found out, and this was actually from Blue Shepherd, which was that mine owner we was talking about. He actually was the one that told us that they had just made these 12 synthetic tourmalines, which they'd never figured out how to do it before, and all of a sudden, now they've got them. But as far as I know, they aren't doing any commercial production.
They're probably drinking some of that water.
You're drinking that lithium water, yeah. But
let's put some of this in that brew.
Yeah. So I guess what we need to do, we need to come up with a question for somebody to win a stone today. So I hope you guys were paying attention.
Are we going to do a tourmaline, or are they going to give it a tourmaline?
I believe so. We just haven't picked it out yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see. What would be a good question that's not just point blank obvious? I mean,
well, it was mentioned several times. I don't know if anybody was paying any attention. What is the name of the Tourmaline mine in Southern California?
Ah, yes, that is a good one. Because we talked about that for probably a good 10 minutes just to start out with. So for you guys that were watching to start.
Maybe had coffee early or something.
Yeah, so you want to win a stone today, you need to know what is the name of the Tourmaline mine in Southern California. It's in San Diego County, just outside of basically the Carlsbad, Oceanside area. This is actually the mine that these stones came from. And we've got lots of them. Matter of fact, I've got baggies of the stones.
Yeah, I don't know that we actually brought all of that.
No, we didn't bring all of it. So I've got some other pieces.
I noticed there. That's where the crystal was?
Yeah, it had like a... That's kind of cool, too, and I looked at that before, but there's actually a spot right there that's kind of shiny.
What would you call that, a ghost crystal?
A ghost crystal. Well, if it was quartz, it was... Oh, yeah.
It's a ghost crystal, see?
Yeah, with quartz, some of those other ones, you have phantom crystals.
Right.
But that's like a crystal inside of a crystal.
Right.
This is a missing crystal.
This is a ghost crystal.
It's a ghost crystal,
yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we don't have anybody answering yet. We need to just take a shot at it. What is the name of the mine? And actually, it's a district, too. There's actually a town there that's named the same thing.
Oh, I wouldn't have known that.
It's some Indian territory.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a casino that's over there, too. Yeah. It's small.
Does it have the same name?
I believe so, actually. I never went to it.
Mm.
So, okay. We don't have anybody answering that one. And keep in mind, if you're watching this at a later time and you see the little red dots, those are comments that are made during the live feed. And so, if you're commenting later and you're wondering why you didn't win, it's because you watched it later and not while we were live. Okay, so
what about if we go name a color that tourmaline comes in?
Well, no, we don't want to do something that easy. I mean, that's anything.
That's too easy.
Okay, so what?
That it doesn't come in?
Well, that's way too hard. Okay, so let's ask you this: what is this kind of tourmaline called? That's pink in the middle and green on the outside. Oh, wait. Raquel got the Palo one just before Stacy said watermelon. So, sorry, Stacy. She beat you by literally like a half second.
Yeah.
So, Raquel, you're our winner today. Yes, it is the Palo mine. And, yep. So
I like that, the Palo Chief mine.
Yeah. That was a good guess, though.
Indian part.
Yeah, that's the Indian part. But yes, it's the Palo mine and the Palo mining district in San Diego County. And so if you guys are ever in Southern California in that area, definitely want to check it out. They do have a little office there.
You can actually buy finished stuff.
Yep, I mean, you can buy finished
not necessarily
stones.
Just tourmaline.
Yeah, but I think
it's Blue Shepherd's there, it's even cooler yet.
Yeah.
That guy is The guy's just incredible.
Yeah, he knows his stuff. He's not there very often, but yeah, if you get a chance to talk to him, very cool guy, very knowledgeable, and so
He's pretty famous in the mining industry.
he is very, very easy to get along with. But definitely, if you're into gemstones and you get a chance to meet him and talk to him, definitely want to pick his brain.
That's a celebrity.
Yeah, he is. Very, very cool. I was very, very lucky to get to spend some time with them and get to talk about their mine and the process and the other stuff that they do there. But if you want some rare stones, he's got some there too. He's got some taphite there, which is a very rare stone. He's got some scheelite there, which is really rare. So he's got stones that don't necessarily come out of his mine, but very cool.
The scheelite could though, couldn't it?
I think there's maybe some that has come out of there, but not necessarily gem quality stuff. But
Taphite, I don't think so.
no, not the taphite. But what's cool is you can go there. It is open to the public. You can go there, and I think it's like $40 for like a 5-gallon bucket of the tailings. And there's been some that have found like 20-carat pieces of rough.
Can you fill the bucket yourself? Yeah.
I don't. It's been long enough now, because we didn't do that part because we were actually going through the tailings and stuff at the mine, so we kind of got the first first shot at it.
We never did get to go to the deal. I thought they was going to reschedule that trip, but they didn't. So
yeah,
I was kind of glad Colton got to go to that because that was kind of a highlight of.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We spent an entire day there. And, it was one of those deals. We were in the mine for several hours, but, we had to put on the hard hat and everything. And there's some actually pretty stupid pictures of me in the mine. We got a little bored.
You could figure out where to put the hat at?
No, that wasn't it. But, you get in there far enough and you got a big enough group that you start getting distracted a a bit. Maybe it's the lithium. Yeah, you start drinking the water. But I definitely encourage you to go check it out. Like I said, you can get a 5-gallon bucket of it, go through the tailings, and you can find some pretty nice stuff. The other thing is, too, and I don't know if it's still going on, but at the time, whenever I was there, you could actually pay like a small fee, and he'd actually cut the stones for you and then ship them to you when they were done. So if you found something that was really nice, you could have him cut the stones because he actually has a lapidary shop there, too. So really cool stuff. We encourage you guys to come by and check out the stones that we've got here. Because, like I said, they look a lot better.
Especially you October birthday people.
Yes.
Because,
if you're married to one.
I don't know if you realize, what your gemstone is, but October has one of probably the prettiest
month.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of options.
Maybe April has you beat, but.
I don't know. Diamonds are nice. Diamonds are nice.
Maybe
it's
a little
close.
more affordable in October.
Yeah, and you got you're probably going to get a little bit bigger piece, and especially you get into pinks. Yeah, you're going to have better shot at the tourmaline than you are going to be the diamond.
Even the blue.
Yeah, or the blues. But come by here at Suzanne's, check them out. It's definitely a stone that you'll be impressed by. I've been looking at them for several years, and it still never fails to surprise me sometimes when we go to a show and see some really incredible pieces of tourmaline. It's one of those stones that you never get tired of looking at because they're just, the colors are incredible. There's so many out there that are different colors, different shapes. They're cut differently. You get some that are sculpted, carved, whatever. And so for me, in designing some stuff, tourmaline is a go-to stone because it's just fun to design around. Mm-hmm. You get some cool shapes. Like this was one of my favorite pieces.
I thought we were ending this.
I know. We're going to. I get carried away with some of these. But like with this one, with the martini glass, that was one of those. As soon as I saw that piece, I knew exactly what it was going to be, and it's just a fun stone.
You should have put a little hitchhiker on the side.
I was going to put like a little wire off the back that had like little green sapphires or something on top, look like olives. But anyway, okay, Now we're going to end it. We'll see you guys next time, next Tuesday, every Tuesday, 10:45 in the morning. And congratulations again, Raquel. We'll be messaging you here shortly and getting your prize stone to you.
Same time, same bat channel.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.